Hello, I'm Bunnery.
I'm Bredmo,
and this is IFXtra. So how is everyone this week? Over here I think we've seen signs of spring. We've got the snowdrops out. We had a nice day out the other day, Valentine's Day. We went to visit a local stately home and gardens, and all the snowdrops were out. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And the sun came out for us too, didn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice to get out of the house sometimes.
Yeah.
And
we had lunch out and walk around the gardens. And
I mean, without going off on too much of a tangent, it's actually like sort of where we went on like one of or our first date. So it's quite nice to go back there.
Yeah, it's lovely. Still looking beautiful, isn't it? Okay, now what have you been? I know you've just been working this week, haven't you? But not on interference.
And so right. We were meant to Zeitgeist on Sunday, and then and so I've been rushing. I'm trying to get stuff done, and
so many deadlines.
And it sort of got to the point where I was like, I just didn't really have the energy, and like part of the thing with Zeitgeist, I assume part of the appeal is me being overexcited and waffling about stuff, and if that's not happening, then I feel like it isn't the true Zeitgeist experience that you've all come to expect. So we sort of
bailed out on that one
on short notice. But so that quiz that you wrote for last week is happening tomorrow.
Oh yeah, so, I'm not going to waste those questions.
Ooh, so that'll be on. I think I'm at the point. I'm still a bit tired, but I think I can just have a can of Monster or something, and that'll balance it out, and it'll be all right.
Cool.
Make hay while the sun shines and all this. There's like do work and things. But just loads of stuff going on at the minute. So I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything this week at all. Like normally I go like, I did like a couple of bits. I haven't done anything. Sorry. Normal service will resume shortly. Sorry about that.
Okay, shall we go and have a look at who won this week's awards? Picture of the week this week goes to a trophy man for a nice lake. I just love this picture. Reminds me of Lake Bled, where we stayed once at the Grand Hotel. It's beautiful. Well done, a trophy man.
My favourite description this week was, "This is what complete exhaustion feels like," by Amy Stewart. Well, I mean, what is there to say there? I think we've all felt like that sometimes. And the look on their face is just complete exhaustion. Nice work, Amy Stewart.
Community pick of the week this week goes to Heraclium for Lizard Wizard, cast fire and ice at the same time. This is an absolutely amazing picture. I just love the cool of the ice and the heat of the fire. And the lizard skin, it's amazing. Well done, Heraclium. They were amazing.
Awesome stuff there, as always.
Yeah. Now, shall we go and have a look what we were talking about last week in the forums? So last week I said, what is your favourite period in history? And I said, I like Shakespeare's time. It's very interesting, but it was a bit brutal and primitive. So instead I might go to Jane Austen's time, the early 1800s. Enjoy a bit of refinement and a few balls.
You just want to meet Mr. Darcy.
Yeah. You see, the thing is, that time was pretty good if you got loads of money. But if you hadn't got any money, it was not so good. And I guess the medical care wasn't there and things like that.
I mean, I was going to say that sounds a bit like now.
Probably is actually. Anyway, Callum said, probably not very exciting, but as someone born in the late 90s, I'd like to have properly experienced the 80s and 90s. The technology and general way of life would have been interesting to see. Well, that's not very far away, is it?
Basically, if you wanted information, you had to go and look it up in a book.
When I started in libraries, we had card catalogues.
It feels, I mean, I remember it, but like it feels crazy looking back. I remember when I was in primary school, really, one of the things that we had were we were given like a weekly finding out assignment where you'd be given a sheet with you know, on a particular topic, and you had to go and find out information. And I used to have to go to the library in town at home, get the Britannica out, and look stuff up, and you had to like write a little report.
Yeah.
Obviously now, you know, you just like do the same thing but with Wikipedia or whatever. Now let's be honest, you know, let's bring it up to date. These days you'd ask Chat GPT for it and it would write the thing for you and you just copy it out. You wouldn't even copy it out, you just copy and paste it. This is how much the world has changed.
You need to read it.
But yeah, it was weird. Like I remember before the internet, I remember before modems slightly, but that's getting a bit hazy because that's going back to like the early 90s.
I remember in libraries it was very exciting when newspapers started coming on CDs. You get one a quarter, and it'd have 3 months of the newspaper on the CD, and you could like read the Times in the last 3 months. It's quite cool.
Weird.
And do searches on it, and that was so exciting.
I digress.
Yeah.
9% says, my favourite period is right now in the computer age.
Wow.
We're advanced enough to know how advanced we are, and we can still remember when we didn't know. So you B made these notes, so I didn't know this was coming up. We can use modern technology like a supercomputer in our hands, and we call it a phone. And we can still see the phone jacks in the corners of our home, a remnant of a time when attached to your home was your home phone. Now, I mean, that's true. I mean, landlines,
We've got them downstairs, but no one ever rings it. Apart from 1 or 2 people have still got the number.
Bizarrely, our cable modem is cheaper if we have a landline that we don't use. But yeah, that's true. And I mean, as people say, you know, supercomputer in your hands called phone. I mean, you know, they landed on the moon with
less technology than
like a modern wristwatch is more powerful than that was.
Absolutely.
People often say about if you could go back and show, like, or if either you could go back in time or bring someone forward in time and show them, like, yeah, look, I have this device which fits in my hand and it gives me access to all human knowledge, but actually I just use it for looking at videos of cats. I mean,
and worse.
It's crazy.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is like the guide, isn't it? When you read the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, oh, it'd be great to have a guide and you can just look anything up.
Yeah.
Now we've got them.
I've just realised this is all 9%.
Oh, there's a lot of 9%.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
It's good.
I've gone off on a sidetrack halfway through it. So 9% continues. Right now is the most beautiful time to be alive. We can make movies about the past with research on historical accuracies, comparing your movie set with original photos of the Old West on that same phone. We live in an age of discovery where truths become known from centuries of lies, and history is finally taught without an accent. Well, this is quite a deep way of looking at it.
Good, isn't it? Yeah.
We live in a time when we have the power and the capability to create something more imaginative than ourselves, and we also live in a time where the bigot's bark doesn't come with teeth anymore. Today, we live in a time where science borders on miraculous, and a time where talks of terraforming another planet for human life doesn't bring laughter to all in attendance. My favourite period in history is right now.
Wow, yeah. I feel like we're on the cusp of something, aren't we, really? But then sometimes, I mean, I don't know about the bigots. I mean, we had Trump, didn't we? Boris.
Yeah.
They got into power, didn't they? How did that happen?
Double-edged sword, really, because previously all these crazy people, they'd just be like
sat the village idiot, and nobody would
sat
see
in the corner
them.
of the pub shouting to themselves, and everyone would
now-
ignore them. But now they have a platform.
They do. Yeah. So,
I mean, well, you know, this sort of there's all sorts of things you can go
pros
from
and
here.
cons to everything, aren't there?
If you have a platform and you have an opportunity to use it for good, you probably should. I mean, you know, that's a whole thing. You know, on a personal note, science bordering on miraculous. I mean, those of you who, wow, this is the show where we talk about everything except interference, really, this week, isn't it? Those of you who don't know the history of interference, it was a thing that, like, you know, I made it ages ago for a laugh, and then it expanded with like the apps and things when Bunnery was getting treated for cancer of unknown primary, which is seemingly a thing, and it was something I was doing just to keep myself sane and give myself something to stay occupied. But thinking about what happened with that, talking about, you know, science bordering on miraculous,
amazing,
I mean, yeah, she had a lump. She had a lump on the side of her throat. Went to the doctor. Oh, don't like that. Let's just take a little bit of it out. Oh no, it's bad. It's cancer. Need to go and sort that out. Go down the hospital. Cut it out, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, all this, all done, all sorted. That was like 11 years ago.
And it costs nothing.
It costs nothing, obviously, because we're in the UK. And
didn't
before
have to sell the
someone
house.
says, yes, obviously we pay tax, but, you know,
we don't care.
everybody pays tax.
Yeah,
but, you know,
It's worth it.
you got treated for cancer, we still have a house.
Yeah.
Well, you still have a house. But No, I mean, really, if it had happened, what, 20
Jane
years ago?
Austen's time.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, if it happened that long ago. But,
Gone.
I mean, even if it happened like 20 years ago, I mean, you know, your survival rate would be way lower. Anyway, I sometimes say, or previously I've said, I feel like I'm born into a boring point of time because, like, I missed the moon landings, and well, I mean, traditionally I
We're here
always
for like the origin of computers.
traditionally I always say I'm going to miss the Mars landings, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm, because that's suddenly accelerating. But 9% is right.
Yeah.
There is
Lots
a
happening.
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, it seeing the moon landing, that would have been cool, but yeah, I'm seeing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Now is a cool time.
Very cool time. Yeah.
Deep. Let's move on.
Anyway, what do we say next? Oh yeah, why don't we go and see what we'll be talking about next week in the forums?
What was the last photo you took? I took a few at Biddulph Grange on our day out last week. The snowdrops were just coming out, so I took a photo of them. How about you?
If you'd like to chime in with that, just head over to the general discussion forum. It's the pinned thread for the week, so you'll find it at the top of the thread list.
Okay, so tomorrow night is Zeitgeist night. It's Zeitgeist quiz. 7. I've done it again. 5 rounds with 5 different topics. Where did I get 7 from?
I don't know. That happened.
Oh,
before.
7 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happens
If you
at
haven't
7.
seen this before, every Sunday night, well, you know, unless I mess it up, every Sunday night at 7 p.m. UK over on twitch.tv/interference, we run the Zeitgeist, the Interference Quiz of the Week. It's our live interactive quiz stream where you play along against the rest of the audience, competing for points and places on the leaderboard. Each round's based on one of the week's drawings from Interference.
Yeah.
Runner picks 5 of her favourite drawings and uses them as inspiration for the rounds. So if we had a drawing of a seagull, we might have a round on seaside resorts. Things with wings, things that steal your chips. I feel like I missed one out. Seabirds. Yeah. It's amazing. No matter how many times you say the same thing, sometimes bits just drop
If you
out of
stop
your
to
head.
think about it, you're doomed. Yeah,
weird.
you just got to go on autopilot.
Yeah. Anyway, point is, that's tomorrow. Normally we talk about what happened last week, but as I say, unexpectedly, didn't happen last week. But tomorrow we're on, and
we have
it's
5
the
awesome
quiz that
pictures.
was planned for last
yeah.
week. So same names if you saw last week's show.
Yeah.
But who are your featured artists for tomorrow?
This week, it's Epops, a Trophy Man, Chaotic Lotus, a Ray Furia, and Loco Louie. So yeah,
Okay.
should be cool.
Yeah. So that'll be tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK, twitch.tv/interference, and it'll be cool to see you there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it worked out all right with not doing last week because I gather there was some really magnificent bird that everybody was watching.
Was it the superb owl?
Yes.
Wow, there we go. We hope you enjoyed your superb owl party.
You know one of the reasons why people say this. It's a very heavily enforced trademark, and so you can get in trouble for
just by saying it.
Yeah, which is part of the reason why people do all this nonsense about superb owls. But anyway,
I prefer
yes.
superb owl.
Hopefully your owl was superb if you were off doing that.
Okay, so that's all the news for now. Just goes to say.
Yeah, if you're not already taking part in the game, then get involved. You can play on the web at playinterference.com or search for Interference in the App Store on your phone or tablet and download the app. You can also get social with us. We're on Twitter at PlayIFX, Facebook at PlayInterference, and Patreon.com/interference if you want to give us a bit of monthly support for the ongoing maintenance of the game, building the new version of the website, building a new version of the apps. We want to add in new game modes and all kinds of cool stuff like that for you. Running the quiz, did I say that?
That's
sort of
the
fun's
one.
running the quiz as well. If you are a patron, you get access to cool things like replays on Interference. You get access to some of the new game modes like Art Start and Recall that we've got. If you're a quiz player, you get a custom entrance shout out from Ava. We really do appreciate your support with that, and it does kind of help us keep working on this stuff. I should also say, because I meant to say at the start and didn't, shout out to Dikesh, who has increased their patronage. Is that the word?
Yeah.
And yeah, like I say, that helps us work on this stuff.
It certainly does.
I mean, the more funding we get through Interference and Patreon and stuff, the less external work I have to do, and then I actually have time to work on the game, which is, really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Thank you, everyone. We think you're awesome.
Okay, that's it for now. So we'll say goodbye till next Saturday.
Yep, have a great week. We'll see you next Saturday.
Bye.
Bye.